What is going on YouTube? Is FlopFish here, and welcome to another edition of NHL 15 Hut Team Builds. Today we are going over one of my favorite team builds I've done so far in Hut, and that is a non-NHL speed team. This team actually will compete and outskate many of the NHL teams you'll see on the market, and this is why I like this team, because personally it feels really good, it plays really good. It's a bunch of players that no one would ever suspect of running, or no one would ever run, and I'm running them unboosted and they can actually skate faster. Now people will be like, oh, that's ice tilt, but no, most of these players on this team have at least 88 speed, and a lot of them have 86 or above. Now there's a couple people that are below, for example, a couple defensemen and actually two centermen are below, but they're nothing below like 80. Which is solid. The lowest one I think is 80 actually, and the ones that have a stat that make up for it, or a height advantage that makes up for it. So without further ado, let's get underway into this team build, and we're starting off on the first line with Anthonazia. I have no clue how to pronounce that name, but he's the fastest player on this team. He's one of two non-NHL players that are at least 90 speed. He's really quick with agility, and he's actually decently tall. He's 6 feet tall, but he's also 165 pounds. And yes, he plays that fast in game, which is absolutely awesome. Next up, we have Patan. Patan, I believe, is either an 86 or an 88 speed, one or the other. Again, still very fast. I'm pretty sure he's actually 88. He's still very, very fast, and he's actually really good at faceoffs. He's above an 80 in the faceoff category, so you can win draws with him, which is very solid, and he's got a good shot too. And speaking of good shots is Nick Jensen. Nick Jensen is 79 overall. Is a really good card. He's good overall, but his shot's about an 87, 88, along with 86 speed. Is a perfect accompaniment for this line because, again, you got speed and you got the finisher in this line, which is solid. Next up, we're going to a former NHL line, in which we got Pierre-Marc Bouchard, Steve Reinpeck, and Chuck Kobasu. Now, Kobasu and Bouchard are both above 88 skate. They're both 89 respectively. That being said, Reinprecht also has 89 hands, and he's also good in the faceoff dots. So he's definitely got stats that make him worth running, and that's why I run them. They seem to play fairly well together. Kobasu is actually a monster, but yes, this line again, fairly cheap, inexpensive line, and a lot of fun to run. Onto the third line. Now this is the only non-NHL 90 plus speed player in Ridola here. He is a 90 speed, and again, really fast player, which is good because, hey, if you're running a speed team, you might as well have the fastest players you can. And again, he can outskate a lot of people. He is 6 feet tall, 192, which is good because he doesn't get knocked off easily, but he can skate really fast. Next up in the center, you have Ross, who is actually decent on the draw, good shot, and also very fast, which is solid to have. And finally, you have Pitlick on the right wing, who again, very fast, and I'm actually surprised with how skilled he is and how good at hitting he is. For someone who's 6'2", 194, he moves pretty quickly in the game. On the fourth line, we have Vlasic, Bailey, and Erickson. Now, he's just a sub right now. The goal of this team is to actually get Jonathan Drouin, and we'd probably put him on the first line and shuffle some people around. But Vlasic is fast. He's got 88, I think 86 speed or something like that. He's got good shots, good deking, and all that type of stuff. He's kind of the finisher on this line. And both Bailey, or I think it's Bally, I think it's how you pronounce it. He's, again, just kind of a sub for right now to fill in for my main center, who is Ulmer, who's again a 88 plus speed, and Erickson, who's also an 88 plus speed, but he's 6'2", 212, so he's a bit more. He plays more like a power forward than a two-way forward. And yeah, so that's the forward lines. Again, very quick forward line. It was actually somewhat expensive to build just because they were very rare at the time I was purchasing them, and often you'd only have one or two of them on the market, if any. Kobasu took 5 days for me to find, and that was 5 days checking him out every 2 hours or so. So onto the defensive end, where we've got Summers and Likens. Now this line, this defensive pairing is, I like it. I like the way it flows. Summers has 89 speed, which means he's going to be able to keep up with anyone, and Likens is a good two-way defenseman, so with that, it's just a good combination to have. On the second pairing, where we have Bowie, who's got 87 speed, and he's got decent like size and hitting power, and we got McNabb, who is tall, and he's an absolute monster. He seems 6'10" in the game when you see him on the ice compared to other players, and he hits hard, he has a good shot, and he's not slow, which are 3 big pluses. On to the third pairing, which we have Urbom and Subban. Subban's fast and has a good shot. Urbom's actually like not super fast, but he's not slow, and he's got a really good hitting power, which is nice when you're playing defense, and he's actually really solid defensively. This defensive core gets it done in both speed, hitting power, and their defensive capabilities, and it creates a lot less scoring chances for the other team, which they're going to have to beat Anthony Stolarz, who's 6'5", 225, catches left, and he has been one of the best goalies I have played with in Hut. So that is the main goalie. The backup goalie is Makarov, who I don't suggest running. He's not great. I'm going to actually, I have Fucali now. I actually just pulled him in a pack before doing this, but so Fucali's going to actually be the backup for this team. But again, very hard to get a puck past Stolarz. He's good on cross creases and good on regular shots. Again, I run everything unboosted. If I were to run this team boosted, I'd get a lot of rage messages, I have a feeling. Anyways, this is a team build. It's an all NHL fast team. Most of the players, again, are above 88 speed, 88 speed or above. And it's fun to use, something a little different. And that's why I like NHL 15, because a lot of these players, you know, people would just be like, oh, you shouldn't be able to run them. They shouldn't be that fast. But in real life, they're actually very fast. So anyways, guys, as always, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, a rating is very much appreciated. As always, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys on the flop side.